What's up everyone? So today I got the Homedox pressure washer. We're going to go over its features, its price point, and whether or not it's a good purchase. So let's get into this product review and see what it's all about. See what we have in the box, okay? Styrofoam. Just so you know, I haven't taken this out to see, to do any tests. So what you see is what you get. Just so that way you could see that I'm not trying to make things up. I'll show you my honest review here of this electric pressure washer. So we got that out of the way. Wow, this is a nice small compact machine. Okay, you got a carry handle, which I assume goes here. So this is pretty neat. It's a slide-in fixture style. So it's gonna go in from the front and slide to the rear. So it slides. You have a hose. So this is a stiff hose. The stiffer hoses will be good against like any abrasion. So you don't have to worry about like tearing anything up against stuff, especially if you're moving around your vehicle. There's a lot of metal parts. Some of the softer hoses are easier to maneuver. But you could potentially tear the actual hose when you're going about your business around your vehicle. So this has some rigidity, and it's the sheathing on it is a little bit stronger than say those softer ones. Okay, but with that also comes into play that this has to get relaxed out. So what I would recommend is like leave it out, stretch it out, put some weights on it, leave it in the sun, and this will soften up to expand all the way out. Or you could leave it like such and then coil it up a lot easier like so. Instead of having to sit there and wind something together, it basically accordions back together itself. Now you got the pressure washer nozzle. So one thing to look for when buying a pressure washer is the fact that you want to make sure your tip is metal. Some of them come all plastic, and I don't like that. Okay, so the fact that this is metal or stainless is a nice addition. Also, certain pressure washer foam cannons will actually allow you to connect them in conjunction with something like this. So keep that in mind because they have similar ends. So depending on what you want will determine, you know, your setup. Or you could go like this and connect the foam gun to the end with the quick disconnect style like I usually do. Here's your foam cannon grenade, and here's your tip. So you have your interchangeable tips. So you push in and twist. Now you got your pressure washer. You could buy an additional foam cannon from other places that you could actually connect to here. But the reason why I like the way they did this one here in particular is because you take your little grenade, fill it up with soap, push it on, twist. Now you got a short stubby setup here, so you're not like way back here trying to spray off your vehicle. You could get up close and personal with your vehicle and not have to worry about scratching anything. You could get underneath the rims, the fender wells, inside the rim area, soap it all up, twist it, remove it, put the other one on to wash it off. Another nice thing about it being tiny is you don't have to worry about wasting a lot of soap and water. The reservoir is real tiny, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. Okay, now we just see how it works, you know, connect everything up. Another cool feature that I noticed with this thing too is you don't have to screw it on to the bottom of this. You actually put it into the front. So this is very interesting. You push this button down. It's metal, it's plastic here, metal right here with the rods. Take this in, make sure this O-ring is lubricated, because if not, what ends up happening is these will crack, and then you got a leak. But no big deal. You could buy O-ring kits, just buy a assortment, and you can replace these anytime. So right there, you take this, You push it down, plug that in, let it go, and it's done. The nice thing about this too is it's on a swivel. The ones that connect here, it doesn't swivel as good. So this thing, as you can see, just swivels all the way around. It's like a quick disconnect, but built into your gun. And the reason why it swivels nicely is because you got these two rods that all they do is pivot on this thing. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the extra cost of quick disconnects. Whereas the other Sunjo pressure washer I had to look, you know, everywhere to try to find quick disconnects that didn't have them because they were a metric system for your electric pressure washers. But this, no big deal. It's a built-in quick disconnect. All right, so one thing to remember, if you're having any issues with this, there is an O-ring that comes out here, and then there's a screen in there. So if for whatever reason you're not getting any water pressure, turn it off right away and make sure that's not plugged up, that screen. And if you're having any leaks in this area, make sure you didn't lose this, okay? So that's that portion of it. If for whatever reason your thing's not turning on, you have a reset and a test button here. So keep that in mind, is you could test it here, check the green light, and you reset if you trip anything. Okay, so one thing you want to keep in mind when utilizing the stiffer hoses is if it kinks up, don't keep pulling on it, because you can bend it and put a kink in it, okay? So even though they're more robust, like pulling it around like sharper objects, these have a tendency to want to kink, and you want to avoid that. So make sure you loop everything nicely, put everything away nice when you're not using it, or even when you're unwinding it. If it gets curled up like this, just make sure you twist the gun to allow it to straighten back out, okay? Don't put a lot of real tight bends to it because it will kink. These hoses should be readily available. You know, you do a search for a hose, you should find stuff like this, aftermarket stuff. If you want a longer one, a shorter one, what have you, totally up to you, different material. But all that stuff is usually available online for you to actually go and seek out. I actually, on my Sunjo pressure washer that I have 2 hoses connected together. It's not ideal. I'd rather have just one 50-foot hose, but you know, I didn't know about the additional hoses that could fit onto these pressure washers. So I thought I had to buy 2 to connect, okay? If I had to redo it, I would just buy one long one. But for some people, 2 might be better, where they could quick disconnect it, you know, put it together, quick disconnect it, and then run a shorter one for like on the go, connect it together, and run a longer one for around the house, okay? So it just depends on what your use is. But I do like how compact this thing is. Like, this is it, okay? It's simple, it's on and off. That's all you need, okay? You don't have to sit here and mess around with, oh, how much fluid is going in from the reservoirs on the back. You know, you don't have to mess with that stuff. It's all just on and off, straight to the gun, okay? That's why, like on my other pressure washer, I don't use the back reservoirs. I have a reservoir like this on the actual gun. Okay, so this nozzle produces a flat stream of water and soap, which is awesome because this actually works better than the one I purchased for my other pressure washer. So let's see what it looks like when it goes, okay? So as you can see, it's a flat fan, okay? You might even want to fill this up. I didn't fill anything up in here as far as water, but let's fill this up and see if that makes a difference. So now I actually added water to the soap, okay? Now let's see how it efficiently runs soap and water over this. So it's way better. So you need to fill this up with water and soap to get this nice frothy soap mixture. Okay, so now you have two options. You could either use this like is, once you fully soap it and this is all out, and use this flat blade to wash whatever it is you have off, or you could swap it and put a nozzle in and swap through those nozzles, which I would prefer because it actually will start cutting away this any of the grime. My vehicle is currently on right now because it has a dead battery, so don't mind that. So you want to do this, and keep in mind this machine is like super quiet. Let me show you what it sounds like when it runs. Super quiet and super like precise sounding. Okay, so this is what happens if you don't have a tip. You get a little piss of a fountain. Now let's go through the tips. This is 40 degrees. Let's go with the 0, okay? We'll start with the 0 and then work our way down. So this is the 0 degree tip. Be careful, don't put your hand on the trigger when you're putting this on. I recommend you turning off the machine and then applying this and then turning it back on. But this is a stream. So as you can see, it shoots a heavy stream, a real small bead of just water. Don't put your hand in front of this because it will hurt. It may even cut, okay? So I don't recommend that for anything unless you're peeling off stuff. Now we'll start with this is a 15 degree, okay? That's 15 degree, and when you let off the trigger, you could rotate it. So if you need to change the angle, you got to let off the trigger. You can't do it while you're have pressure in it because it won't work. So that's 15. Now let's change it up to a 25. Okay. So that's 25 degrees. 25 degrees and 15 are probably what you're going to use most. And then this one here is the 0. Let's go to the, I think this is a 40 degree. Okay, the white one. Super wide. Remember, the wider it is, the less pressure or concentrated pressure you're going to have on whatever it is you're pressure washing off, okay? So let's just use the 40 and clean up the rest of this water. So that's the 40. Now the 25. Now the 15. So for the verdict, do I recommend the Homedox pressure washer? Yes, I do. For the price point that it comes in at, it's a great value. You get everything you need, especially on projects that are just your home projects, okay? If you're gonna need something to like blow off your driveway and stuff like this thing will come in handy. If you're doing commercial stuff, then of course you're gonna go into the gas stuff anyway. But for your everyday use, this one's actually pretty good at the price point that it comes in at. It gives you a great value, so I highly recommend this, okay? So that's gonna complete today's video on the Homedox pressure washer. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. If you wanna see content like this and other content I'll be posting in the near future, consider subscribing. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.